All right, what's up, y'all? It's Flying Squirrel. So there's been a lot of talk about Jake Paul going after this 58-year-old, 59-year-old old man, and he's looking for the easy fights, which agreeable. We can agree on that. But I don't know if y'all have watched the last Mike Tyson fight and watched the last Jake Paul fight. I think it's clear Mike Tyson is not an ordinary 60-year-old. I was watching the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, and he was clearing the distance on Roy Jones so fast. This man was clearing distance on Roy Jones so fast, it was like Goku instant transmission. He was slipping the jab, and then he'd come in with a combo. Look at this. Look at it. This is in round one. He'd come in with a combo. He'd come in with a hook to the body. He did this the whole entire fight. His head movement was impeccable. His explosiveness was crazy. And he was doing this to Roy Jones Jr. So, we could look at him and be like, oh, he's an old guy. He's an old guy. But then he's moving like an NFL player. He's moving like Saquon Barkley. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't think so. I think just go ahead and watch that fight after this video and just watch how he's moving across the ring. Watch his explosiveness. Watch his speed. They say strength is the last thing to go, and that's what a lot of people are saying is Mike Tyson's only way to win this fight. I don't think so. But strength is definitely the last thing to go. Anyone who's arm wrestled an old man, they know about old man strength. Or when you meet your girlfriend's dad and he hits you with the steel claw, kung fu calisthenics, mountain climber grip. You guys know if you've done physical labor with an old guy and he hits you with
You got soft hands, brother. You got soft hands. You ain't never worked a day in your goddamn life.
Yeah, strength does not go. So Mike Tyson definitely still has strength. Matter of fact, Roy Jones Jr. in his prediction for this fight, he said Mike Tyson still at this age was the hardest hitting opponent he has ever fought. Roy Jones said Mike Tyson is the hardest hitting opponent he has ever fought.
And I think you said after he still has his strength and his
Still
power.
got the power. Still got the power. That's why I say Jake has to get out of the first 3 rounds. Get past the first 3 rounds, he got a chance. But the first 3 rounds are going to be devastating.
But the strength it's not a surprise. It's the explosiveness that's really surprising to me. I think Mike Tyson still somehow he has this explosiveness at an old age. He's been able to train it. He's been able to re-get it. He's been able to return to his base form, maybe even 70% of his form. Remember, he was a champion for like 10 years. So even 70% of that, he's a dangerous guy. But people are saying, Jake Paul's path to victory is keep the distance, last until the later rounds. I don't know what's worse. If someone says your only way to win is by knockout, or your only way to win is to skate around and win by the later rounds. What's worse? What's worse? I think those both aren't really fair assessments because you think he's going to be better at keeping the distance than Roy Jones Jr.? No, seriously. No. Look at yourself when you say that. You think Jake Paul is going to be better at keeping the distance than Roy Jones Jr.? Because Roy Jones ate a lot of shots in that fight. Look at yourself. No, look at yourself in the mirror. Take a step back. Look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to tell me that Jake Paul's better than Roy Jones Jr. I know he's older. I know. But I'm watching Mike Tyson slip Roy Jones's jabs like they're in slow motion. We got to stop acting like Mike Tyson is not in shape. Tyson is in shape, and he will be able to fight in those later rounds. You watch the later rounds of him versus Roy Jones, and he doesn't slow down. He's still explosive. Roy Jones is still explosive and quick. I think Mike Tyson's conditioning is going to surprise everybody. I've run a few half marathons, and I've run a full marathon. And one thing you notice when you run a full marathon is how many freaking 60-year-old people there are in these marathons. Conditioning, contrary to popular belief, conditioning does not go away with age. Y'all know actually with marathon runners, you don't decline until you hit 60 years old. Did y'all know that? You didn't know that because you don't ever run. You don't ever do your cardio. Gotcha! Anyways, let's continue. Mike Tyson is in better shape for this fight against Jake Paul than he was for the Roy Jones fight. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. He is in better shape to fight this 28-year-old kid than he was to fight one of the greatest boxers of all time. Jake Paul, he looks big, but he doesn't look fast. Usually he fights at 190, and so for this fight, he's going to be bulking. I think he's trying to bulk up to 230. I think he's going to have a hard time moving around, keeping his speed with that extra weight. The bigger you get, the slower you get. You're not going to get bigger and get faster. That's not how it works. And the big that he got was not explosive big. It's donut big. Let's be real. He's donut big. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson is actually slimming down for this fight, and he's cut. So who's going to have the speed advantage? The guy who went from chubby to cut, or the guy who went from cut to chubby? He looks better in some photos than he did when he was a kid. When he was a 19-year-old. I don't know what kind of TRT they got him on. They must got him on the Hellcat TRT, the SRT TRT. Because this man is motivated. He's in shape. He's scary. Did y'all see that video where he knocked his training partner out? He's like, "Are you sure? You sure? You sure? Don't mess with me."
Nice left hook. Up. You sure?
Yeah, me
Yes.
too.
You fucking sure?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. You sure?
Yes.
Fuck with me, it's all right?
Yes.
Let's do this.
You did great.
We're done.
Dude, he's scary. I watched that video like 20 times. I literally got scared. Meanwhile, the last Jake Paul video I watched, he's talking about his ayahuasca ceremonies. He's walking around his $1 billion house in Puerto Rico. He's talking about his manifestations. He's been doing meditating. Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. Mentally, I think Mike Tyson has an edge. He's doing the ayahuasca. He's doing the ayahuasca ceremonies. He doesn't know what I got in store for him. I'm a monster. I'm the greatest ever. I'm a conqueror. I'm the champion. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is over here doing goo challenges. He's doing goo challenges in his backyard, making YouTube videos. Bro, everybody fears me. Everybody's praying. I'm the predator. I'm a cheetah. I'm a jaguar. I'm a cougar. I'm a lion. I'm going to bite his face off. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it for breakfast. I'm going to eat it for lunch. I'm going to eat it for dinner. Dude, Mike Tyson, mentally, he has an edge for this. I think another misconception people have about this fight, they say, oh, Mike Tyson's been retired for years. He's an old retired fighter. That is false, okay? Because how long has Jake Paul been boxing? Jake Paul's been boxing since 2018, okay? And if you remember, he got famous because he knocked out Nate Robinson on whose undercard? He knocked out Nate Robinson on Mike Tyson's undercard. So that means Mike Tyson was already in fight shape in 2020. These two guys have been active fighters for about the same amount of time recently. Now, Mike Tyson, he has 20 years of professional boxing experience. Then he took about a 15-year break. And then now he's been training seriously for the last 4 years. Whereas Jake Paul has only been active since 2018, and he has 6 years of boxing training. So that sounds a lot different, don't it? So you got a legendary boxer with 25 years of professional experience fighting almost exclusively world champions. Almost exclusively, all his fights were world championships at the highest level in the heavyweight division. And then you have a young amateur fighter who's 28 years old, sure, but he has 6 years of experience at the amateur level. Okay? You guys think that Jake Paul is going to be harder than Buster Douglas? You think he's going to be harder than Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Larry Holmes, Roy Jones? You think he's going to be harder? You think Mike Tyson has never had to put a game plan together for a guy who's jab happy? I want to look at his resume real quick. Let's look at his resume. Let's look at his resume. KO, 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 KO. Decision, KO, 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 decision. All right. So he's 28-0, and then he wins the heavyweight title. He had already won 28 fights, pro fights, most of them by knockout, by the time he was 20 years old. Now, I know this is 40 years ago. I know this is different. But we just got to think about the experience gap is so big. So big. And the fact that he has learned, he's done a camp for every one of these fighters. And even though he tapered off during the end of his career, 50-6 as a professional fighter with 44 wins by knockout is absolutely insane. And I put this guy ahead of Jake Paul. I know Jake Paul is young. I know he's probably more explosive. I don't think he actually is. I think Mike Tyson's more explosive. I think Mike Tyson's going to be faster. I think Mike Tyson's going to have equal stamina and equal conditioning. I think Mike Tyson has a mentality edge. There's a difference. There's a difference. When you go from one level to the next level, there's a difference in intensity. There's a difference in speed. That's what everyone says going from college to NFL. That's what everyone says going from high school to college. That's what everyone says going amateur to pro. It's the speed and it's the mentality that makes the difference. And I think Mike Tyson has both of those. If I make a prediction, I don't think he wins by knockout in the first few rounds. I think he'll knock Jake Paul down for sure. And he might win by majority decision with a bunch of knockdowns. If he does win by knockout, I think it'll be in the later rounds. So that's my prediction. If I'm wrong on this, y'all realize the risk I'm taking. If I'm wrong on this, the Jake Paul fans will be in my comment section, and I will be flooded. If that's a thing, are there Jake Paul fans? Have y'all ever met a Jake Paul fan in real life? Let me know. Also, why the heck do they have Instagram followers as a stat? What the heck? Okay, I gotta end this video. That's it.